A blonde, brunette, and a redhead walk into a bar. They're each holding a Nintendo DSi XL, and each of them are playing one game. Which woman is playing the best Pokemon game? That's right, all of them are playing Pokemon Black 2, and all of them are drop dead gorgeous. Coincidence? No. Hot people play Pokemon Gen 5. Let's get into it. For starters, I want to give my background on Pokemon. My family had a Nintendo 64, and for most of the time, I would obviously play Super Smash Bros. But every now and then I'd boot up some Pokemon Stadium, and this was my first experience with the Pokemon games. They weren't mainline, but I grew accustomed to the turn-based battle system, and I learned all the type matchups. Flash forward a couple years, and I finally got my first mainline Pokemon game. My mom bought me Pokemon White, and boy, I was excited. I've been watching the shows, the movies, playing Stadium, even Pokemon Puzzle League, which is super fun, by the way. It's like Tetris, but Pokemon, but better. And so I started playing the game, and it was awesome. New region, new Pokemon, new adventures, all new from what the Pokemon experience had previously offered me. Really quick, I figured I should probably define what I mean by generation or gen. Pokemon's divided into 8 generations with a 9th one on the way. Each generation brings a new region with a new set of Pokemon, new gym leaders, blah blah blah, you know the rest. Specifically, Gen 5 is made up of Pokemon Black and White and their sequels. If you struggle with basic classification or haven't got your numbers down yet, just look it up on Bulbapedia. Also, maybe put down the video games and pick up a book. Now I know what you're thinking. This guy's first mainline game was White. Of course he'll like Gen 5 then. And you're right, I'm biased. That's it, I'm biased. But this game really did give me a great Pokemon experience, and I'd feel the same even if it wasn't my first game. Black and White really capture the feeling of a Pokemon adventure. When I'm running around the Unova region, it feels like a mini Earth. There's New York City, the Sahara Desert, and Mistralta City Gym. Seriously though, the contrast between locations makes me feel like I'm traveling the world, all with the company of my starter, the objectively best starter, Snivy. Snivy was my first Pokemon ever, and this makes me so happy. This little guy has the smuggest grin. He's so cool. I love Snivy. When he first evolved into Superior, I freaked out. I thought it was the coolest shit I've ever seen. Anyway, back to the region. For some, there's some pretty harsh transitions that break immersion, but for me, it doesn't really bother me that much. I think it allows Unova to capture a little bit of everything. We can experience vastly different locations, all in one neatly little packaged adventure. Gen 5 also has some great character designs, starting out with the playable characters, and right off the bat, I'm impressed. Hilda's got a great big head of hair, and some pretty tasteful wristbands. Her pockets are a little whack, but I think the spikiness adds a little personality, and some contrast against her rounded bag. Hilbert honestly isn't my favorite. He kind of reminds me of Red if Red wore a blue jacket. But Black and White 2 characters are even better. Rosa has this really unique hairstyle, the double buns and strands coming out from each side, and she has some leggings giving the sporty look, and Nate is an absolute unit. He's got the Under Armour gym short combo, and I love the red, blue, gray color scheme going on. Woo! I can tell both of their personalities with just a glance. Such a great design. The rest of the region has some great designs too. Berg has this hippie artist vibe, and makes sense he's a bug type trainer. I'll bet you $50 his favorite house is Hufflepuff. Drayden was the original Giga Chad, and on my first run through, I couldn't help but respect him. He wasn't in the game until the very end, but every time he spoke, I thought he was wise, you know? Moving on to the sequels, Roxy looks like she's about to sing a Blink-182 song. I love it. Very cool. And of course, Skyla and Elsa? Yeah, great designs. Bossa City was my favorite as a kid, just because of Elsa alone. She's a certified baddie. I like that she's a model, and in the sequel games, she has new clothes to keep up with the new fashion. Not every returning character got a new design, but this one just makes sense. The original headphones with the long wires, super sleek, but the puffy coat cannot be beat. And did I mention, she's a baddie. I like Elisa. I hope I'm saying her name right. Speaking of designs, how about these Pokemon designs? Am I right? Gen 5 brought us some of the most controversial Pokemon designs to date, with some claiming that Game Freak was just running out of ideas. Look, I know I'm supposed to be convincing you that Gen 5 is the best, but honestly, what makes a good Pokemon design is pretty subjective. I'll just say how I feel about some of the designs, and you can decide if you agree with me or not. Alright, starting out, Vanillite and Trubbish. They aren't that bad. It makes sense. A poison Pokemon made of toxic trash in the city, it just makes sense. Trubbish isn't really that different from Muck, but nobody complains about Muck because he was from the first game. Vanillite gets too much hate. And Vanillite just gets too much hate. Gen 5 brought us some of the best Pokemon in the entire franchise. Haxorus, Crocodile, Chandelier, all in my top 10 Pokemon of all time. They're just cool. Honestly, they're just cool. Honestly. The Monkey Trio is pretty terrible though. I've heard complaints that many Unova lines are just copy of older generations. Honestly, some are pretty heavily influenced, but most of them are still pretty good, and they take what previously worked and added a little unique twist. Conkeldurr's like Machamp, but its design is more focused on construction and concrete. This holds up. Gen 5 takes some of the more general animalistic designs and gives a more focused take. Another example would be Gigalith line, which is comparable to the Golem line. Geodude and Graveler are supposed to be rocks. If you don't agree with that, you probably eat crayons. Roggenrola and Boulder also are rocks, but you can see the extra pizzazz with the crystals on Boulder, and it gets even pizzazzier with Gigalith. As opposed to just being rocks, they're rocks with a little something extra. A little junk in the trunk, if you know what I mean. I think Gen 5 hits the perfectly balanced designs. They have some quirky niche, but it isn't too overboard. I think the later generations get a little too specific in the personalities of Pokemon, and end up feeling a little unbelievable as a result. I could imagine a pack of Bisharps roaming around the wild, moving any number of spaces diagonally, like Bisharps do. But I couldn't imagine a pack of Cinderaces playing soccer in the wild. Also, before I bought the game, I saw Zekrom and Reshiram from the box art and the trailers, and I love both of them. But if I had to choose one, I liked Reshiram more. So I asked my mom for White to get the legendary White Pokemon. Rookie mistake, I know. So after Black and White 2 was announced, I decided to actually get the one with Reshiram. So obviously, I pre-ordered Black 2, which gave me Zekrom. But it was too late. I had pre-ordered, I played myself, but it wasn't too bad. I was able to get Reshiram through the GTS, and I just pretended I wasn't a fucking idiot. Another common complaint about this generation is the linear structure, especially for the original Black and White. There's a set path you have to follow, which means you can't just challenge the gym leaders all willy-nilly. However, Black and White are the most heavily story-driven games in the series, with a lot of wacky events you need to take care of before you can advance any further. Black and White 2 are a little less narrative-focused, and they have a slightly weaker narrative in my opinion, but still rise to the top in terms of mainline story games. Even as a dumb little kid, I saw the value in the story of Black and White. Do Pokemon want to be captured and forced into battle by teenagers who need to be told how to run? I don't know, but this guy tells me they're happy, so I wouldn't worry about it. Seriously though, Black and White provides a logical conflict that a world filled with monsters would have. I feel like it presents the themes pretty well. The games don't come across as preachy, oh, you can't eat meat, the miltake population is falling. But it still made my little child mind wonder if what I was doing was the right thing. I feel like that's huge. As a child, I was playing this game and I thought about the actions I took if they were ethical and just. I used to eat raw chicken nugget Lunchables, yet there I was contemplating the morality and methods of a fictional organization. That's pretty big. And I didn't mind the linear structure of these games because the story makes it work. It gives purpose to the decision. If the game forced me into a set path with no special events and overarching narrative, then I'd feel a little different. But I think Black and White 2 improved on this, even if only a little. And if you don't like the story, then I've noticed recently that Gen 5 has been getting a lot more praise. I think playing some of the newer games really puts it into perspective. And this makes me happy. Gen 5 did not get the love it deserved when it initially released, especially the original Black and White. Returning players were grumpy they couldn't see the same 6 Pokemon they always have, since Black and White only allowed a Unova Pokemon to be caught for the majority of the games. But now that we have a lot more games that have been released, and people are a little more used to the Gen 5 Pokemon, I feel like Black and White are really becoming more respected by the community. Black and White 2 are some of my favorite Pokemon games, and I just wanted to rant about how great they are. If you haven't played them, or even if it's been a while, then give them another shot. Let me know if you agree in the comments below, or let me know that you still hate White because you can't play through it with Garchomp. Chomp? I've been Chomp. Thanks for watching.